Baker Mayfield Getty Images Seasons turned on Saturday. Some were ruined, others saved, a few were made, but nothing could compare to what happened in Stillwater, where Oklahoma announced itself a very real playoff contender, and Baker Mayfield took a major step towards winning the Heisman Trophy. The Oklahoma State rivalry is called Bedlam, and the annual showdown lived up to its name as the teams combined for 1,446 total yards and 114 points in an offensive onslaught that would make Mike D'Antoni blush. And, fittingly, Mayfield owned the spotlight, as he has across the first 2 months of this season, throwing for a school record 598 yards and 5 touchdowns in a video game-like 6,252 victory. The brash and brazen senior has been the story of this college football season, right up there with the dominance of Alabama and Georgia, surprising runs by Notre Dame and Miami, and disappointing performances of Ohio State and Penn State. He's fun for the game, planting the Oklahoma flag on Ohio State's field following a win over the Buckeyes, and wearing a traitor t-shirt Texas Tech fans made about the former Red Raider the previous year. Some have criticized his antics, but he should be able to enjoy himself. He has carried a clearly vulnerable Oklahoma team to the top of the Big 12 entering next weekend's showdown with TCU, and has done so with a bullseye on his back. With Penn State's Saquon Barkley fading fast, Mayfield is in the driver's seat. It seems like a lifetime ago he was overlooked, forgotten in August amid the Sam Darnold, Josh Rosen, Josh Allen hype. But through 9 games, it's pretty clear he's been the best player in college football. Take his gaudy numbers with a grain of salt if you like, because Mayfield plays in the defense-optional Big 12. But keep in mind, he put up 386 yards and 3 touchdowns on the road at Big Ten powerhouse Ohio State. He lit up Iowa State's defense, ranked in the top 20, for 306 yards and 3 touchdowns. Even in the Arena League, his numbers, 28 touchdown passes compared to 5 interceptions, a 72.5% completion rate and 2,628 passing yards, would be through the roof good. He's done it without a true number 1 running back. Oklahoma splits carried between Trey Sermon, Abdul Adams and Rodney Anderson, and no clear-cut number 1 wide receiver. It was all on display Saturday, on a day when Ohio State and Penn State both lost, further opening up the playoff for the Big 12, and Mayfield's Heisman competitors faltered. Oklahoma couldn't have scripted a better afternoon. 80s night, get ready for the Catholics vs. Convicts flashbacks, the grainy highlight videos of old Notre Dame-Miami showdowns. One of the sport's most storied rivalries is back. There will be major playoff implications Saturday night in Florida, when undefeated Miami hosts Onalas Notre Dame in by far the biggest game between the programs in quite some time. Notre Dame's Tony Jones Jr. left celebrates a touchdown. AP The Hurricanes ensured the game's importance with a 2,810 bludgeoning of Virginia Tech, by far their best win of the season, while Notre Dame won its 7th straight game, 4,837, over Wake Forest. Neither program was supposed to be in the playoff mix this late into the season. Notre Dame was unranked in the preseason, Miami was number 18. And here they both are, needing to get by one another to continue their surprising runs. Just like old times. How the tables have turned, it's ironic, isn't it, the Big Ten's playoff hopes now rest in the other division, the one that wasn't even supposed to show up for the conference championship game. The Big Ten West, the league's ugly stepchild, is the conference's only chance. Only undefeated Wisconsin can save the Big Ten from getting left out of college football's big party after Ohio State and Penn State, the teams many expected would represent the league in the playoffs, both fell Saturday, losing to Iowa and Michigan State, respectively. Those losses, however, don't necessarily help Wisconsin and its paper-thin resume. The Badgers need a major win along the way somewhere, and Michigan, their opponent November 18th, isn't it. They need Ohio State to win the Big Ten East, and then the Big Ten needs to root like mad for Wisconsin. Top 10 1. Alabama 90 last week. 1. Jalen Hurts already owns the Alabama record for rushing touchdowns by a quarterback with 20. He's 2/3 into his sophomore year. 2. Georgia 93. While everyone is looking ahead to the SEC title game against Alabama, next Saturday's showdown with Auburn should NTB minimize 2 of the nation's premier running attacks and best defenses meet with plenty on the line. 3. Notre Dame 81-4. Even with Josh Adams sidelined for most of Saturday for what was described as weariness, Notre Dame still ran for 380 yards. It hopes to have 2 projected first-round draft picks, offensive linemen Quentin Nelson and Mike McGlinchey, up front. 4. Clemson 81-5. The talent isn't the same as last year, but the championship medal is. Clemson rebounded from a pick-six on its first offensive possession in 3 different deficits at NC State to remain in the thick of the playoff hunt. 5. Oklahoma 81-7. Everyone will remember the 1,446 total yards and 114 combined points in Oklahoma's 6,252 win over Oklahoma State, but the defense holding after a critical Baker Mayfield interception in the final minutes shouldn't be forgotten. 6. Miami 89. Miami didn't get exposed. I did. The Hurricanes proved their detractors wrong, hammering Virginia Tech to remain one of 5 unbeaten teams left in college football. 7. Wisconsin 98. It's the Badgers or bust for the conference now. The Big Ten's playoff hopes rest with Wisconsin, which continues to cruise, manhandling Indiana 4,517 on Saturday. 8. TCU 81. The Horned Frogs have allowed just 27 points over the last month, but the offenses they have faced are junior varsity caliber compared to their next opponent, Oklahoma and Baker Mayfield. 9. Washington 81. The Pac-12's only hope for the playoff has rebounded well from its lone loss with blowouts of UCLA and Oregon. Win out in impressive fashion, and the Huskies have a puncher's chance for an invite. 10. Michigan State 72. Marked Antonio Magic. 3 wins a year ago, another expected down season predicted, and the Spartans control their own destiny in the Big Ten East after Saturday's upset of Penn State. Dropped out Ohio State 72, Penn State 72 and Oklahoma State 72. Heisman watch in order of predicted finish. QB Baker Mayfield, Oklahoma. While others are stumbling, Mayfield is soaring, throwing for a school record 598 yards and 5 touchdowns to lead Oklahoma past Oklahoma State in Bedlam. Jalen Hurts. Getty Images. RB Saquon Barkley, Penn State. It's difficult to determine what has vanished faster, Penn State's playoff hopes or Barkley's perch atop the Heisman race after another underwhelming performance. RB Bryce Love, Stanford. He's fading, managing just 69 yards and a touchdown in a 2,421 loss to Washington State a week after an ankle injury sidelined him. RB Josh Adams, Notre Dame. His 22-yard performance due to weariness, as the team called it, doesn't ruin Adams' Heisman hopes. But it leaves him no margin for error. Anything less than brilliance the rest of the way won't be enough. QB Jalen Hurts, Alabama. The best player on the best team, Hurts has thrown just 1 interception, and produced 17 touchdowns for the juggernaut Crimson Tide.